17th, but my speech will dive deeper into the traditions of St. Patrick's Day and give everyone more knowledge about the history. I will begin by talking about why we celebrate this holiday, explain the cultural foods eaten, and discuss some symbols that represent this holiday. The history of how it became a widespread celebration is important to point out. Although it's celebrated everywhere, it is originally from Ireland. The original St. Patrick lived in the 5th century and eventually became Ireland's patron saint and national apostle. He was born in Roman Britain and kidnapped at the age of 16 and brought to Ireland as a slave. He used Christianity to help him overcome the hardships of enslavement. His goal was to spread Christianity to the Irish people, and he did that after he escaped enslavement and returned to Ireland, spending his life converting Druids to Christianity. After his passing on March 17, 461, it has forever marked the holiday of St. Patrick's Day. In the article written on History.com titled History of St. Patrick's Day, one of the staff members points out that the first ever parade was celebrated in the United States on March 17, 1762, instead of Ireland. The Irish soldiers serving in the English military marched to the cities of New York to help them reconnect with their Irish roots. The Irish patriotism flourished among Americans, prompting the rise of the Irish Aid Societies. In 1848, several of these societies united to form one big parade in New York, which happens to be the world's oldest civilian parade and the largest parade in the United States with over 150,000 participants. St. Patrick's Day was traditionally a strictly religious holiday, but in 1995 the Irish government transformed it to be more open to the public and to drive tourism and showcase the Irish culture to the rest of the world. I will now explain the history behind the food and go over one popular dish. According to Larry Struckman in his blog on ShiftNote, he explains that since St. Patrick died during Lent, a feast was enabled to honor his life and give Christians a break from fasting. Over time, people have tended to overindulge in the foods, the drinks, and the wild spirit, forgetting the meaning behind the holiday, which is the main reason why I chose to share the topic's history. Corned beef and cabbage is a St. Patrick's Day staple meal. It is not actually a traditional Irish meal, though, as many Americans think. It was developed in the United States. Ireland traditionally ate lamb or pork with potatoes due to its low cost at the time. According to Shaylin Esposito in the Smithsonian.com, she mentions that beef in general was considered a symbol of wealth, or a sacred animal, especially in Gaelic Ireland. They were used for milk and fieldwork strictly. The British invented the term corned beef, which was used to describe the size of the salt used to cure the meat, which is pretty large. Ireland became the main developer of beef due to the Cattle Acts of 1663 and 1667 preventing exports of live cattle to England. In 1845, the Great Potato Famine displaced 1 million poor Irish people to migrate to the United States to escape starvation. This is the best explanation of why corned beef cabbage became so popular in the United States. I will now discuss some symbols that are associated with this holiday. One being the three-leafed shamrock represents the Holy Trinity. Each leaf being separate and distinct represents the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. St. Patrick actually used this model to spread Christianity to the Irish people. The shamrock became the national flower due to its green in color and abundant growing year-round. It also served as a reminder of the Trinity to the people. It's considered good luck to many nations around the world. The next symbol I will talk about is the leprechaun, which is an Irish word for the little body. According to Alison Berry in TimesNewsFeed.com, she points out that the leprechaun is a supernatural fairy-like creature whom folktales have been passed down about in Irish storytelling. Traditional Irish folklore describes these creatures as solitary and mischievous figures driven by greed. After conducting research and learning more about the history behind St. Patrick's Day, I've come to the conclusion that holidays in general often get overlooked as just a celebration, when in fact there's a purpose, a meaning, and a history behind each and every one of them. St. Patrick's Day was created to honor St. Patrick for bringing Christianity to the people of Ireland. Many traditions such as parades, foods, and symbols have represented this day all over the world. Especially since St. Patrick's Day is coming up, I thought it would be interesting to research the history and bring awareness to its authentic traditions.